Hello and welcome to my unwrapping and first look at the brand new Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Nihilus Vigilus Ablaze book from Games Workshop. It will cost you £30, which is £5 more than your normal army full codex, which in the case of a Space Marine codex could contain 80 or so data sheets. Anyway, I was very impressed by the first book. I wanted to just give you a first look at this and give you a first impression, see whether it's actually worth the £30. In my opinion, I think Games Workshop missed a trick. I think they should have bundled this in with the Shadowspear and called the box set Vigilus Ablaze, or I don't know, something along those lines. A bit like a Dark Imperium Second Coming. It would have been great. The Shadowspear box set would have sold a lot more, and they wouldn't have had to put all of those mini codexes in there. You could have had all of those mini codexes in this book, but hey, there we go. Anyway, let's unwrap this and have a look at it. Like I say, I was a fan of the first one. I had a lot of content, more content than I thought. Could they have put both of these books in one? Yeah, but you know, it's not in their interest, is it? If they can sell you two books and if they can forward the narrative piece by piece, a little bit like video games and DLC. And I've been saying this for years, that Games Workshop are starting to, you're starting to see that in lots of other areas where they will give you additions to current base games. You're seeing that right now actually in Adeptus Titanicus with Titan Death and soon the Doom of Molech book. And also you see that in Blackstone Fortress with the Dreaded Amble and the new Chaos models that you're going to get for that. So like always, it's designed in the UK and printed in China. In here you've got, it's 200 pages. I think the last one was 200 pages too. So in here, there you go, there's Vigilus again. And War of Nightmares, it says. So this is the content. So you've got Chaos Rising, not Horus Rising, Chaos Rising, War Zones, Forces of War, Campaign Rules, Narrative Play Missions, Battle Zones, War Zone Rules, Faction Rules, Black Legion and Renegade Chapters. Of course, it's published in 2019. Here you go, Global Destruction. Straight away, you've got the Shadowspear new models, all of them right there. You've got the captain, you've got the infiltrators, you've got the suppressors, and then you've got the new Chaos Space Marine models, the Executioner, Abaddon, Dark Apostle, and the new Chaos Space Marine box set. So you're going to have some of the new models in this book. And this is the now infamous artwork that's also on the inside cover of the new Chaos Space Marine Codex. Fantastic bit of artwork, and it says Chaos Rising, Doom from the Skies. So there's going to be a lot of lore in this and storytelling. Battle in the Void, A Dark New Dawn. There's Harken Worldclaimer. War in the Darkness. A little bit about Gene Stealer cults there, and the way they've had to fight them with the Night Lords. Retaking the Hoist, the Omniscient Hoist, the vast pulley mechanism by which the Adeptus Mechanicus drew ice-clad asteroids from space in order to harvest vital aqua meteoris, has been taken by a strike force of pure strain Gene Stealers. With water so scarce, the Tech Priest launched a concerted assault to reclaim it. So Adeptus Mechanicus trying to get that water for Vigilus. To cauterize the wound. It's quite an old piece of artwork, I think. Calgar's Fires. Manus Calgar took extreme action, and what he did was it was a systematic program of arson starting at the throat of each of the largest hive spires, and it would cleanse the traitors from the tips of each stronghold without the Imperial forces committing another bullet. So he burnt the spires of Vigilus Hive. Inside the swirl, got some Dark Angels there. The Void Claw. It's an ancient weapon known as the Void Claw, a device of incredible power. And the despoiler had plans of it, had plans for it of his own. The Mad Vendetta of Asandus. False Tides and the Draining. This is the Greater Omniscient Hoist. And there's the Ice Asteroids. The Iron Fist closes tight. Infernal Machines. Almost looks like flamers really, don't they? Rather than autocannons. Excruciator cannons. Cults and Conquests. The Noctilith Crowns, a little bit about them. Vile Revelations. So you've got the Death Guard overtaking a few worlds. Their mission was to spread a star-spanning contagion across the entire sector. Of Man and Xenos. I'm trying to go through this first look without giving you spoilers. Obviously I kind of know roughly what's going on, but the Samhain are there, and then yeah, the Penumbral Pact. So look, you've got Marneus there and the Eldar. I wonder what they're going to do together. Distracting Tactics. So you've got them fighting the Orcs there. And then Demise of a Legend. So you've got Marneus versus Abaddon. They do battle it out. I won't say what happens exactly. Then you've got Fallen Skies and Heroes of the Void. Planet in Flames. Then Aftermath. And War Zones. So you've got Orcs, Drakari, Craftwell, same Han, Chaos, Adeptus Astartes, Genestealer Cults, Imperium, and Adeptus Mechanicus. Dontoria Hive Sprawl. The artwork is lovely and it's really nicely set out. Dirkden Hive Sprawl. Mega Borealis. So we've seen these in the last Vigilus book. The Omniscient Hoist. Getting those ice asteroids for some water. Mortwald. Storval, which is abundant in energy farms. It provides energy to the continents of Vigilus. Otek Hive Sprawl. The Vullian Swirl. And A Wolf at the Door. Kalax Bane. So as you can see, this book is similar in layout to the previous one in that it goes through different areas. It goes through the story and what's been happening, and then it goes through different areas and how they were affected in the conflict. Then you've got Neo Vellum. Got a lovely picture there of a tech priest. And Forces of War. So again, there's Marneus and his 2 bodyguard against Abaddon. Forces of Chaos, there you go. Heretic Astartes. So these are all the different war bands that are involved. Galapox, 4 Pox mobs, World Eaters, Arm Warriors, Alpha Legion, Word Bearers, Night Lords, Flawless Host, The Purge, Traitor Legio Titanicus. You've got the Death's Heads, Firemasters, Legio Vulcanum 2 and Legio Decapitorum. The Grand Fleet of the Despoiler included the Vengeful Spirit, 12 battleships, 19 heavy cruisers, and an estimated 34 cruiser squadrons and 84 escort squadrons. So there you go, that's the Forces of Chaos, a little bit more about them. Forces of the Black Legion. The Archlord Discordant, so a little bit about one of those new units. The Cults of Destruction, Battle of the Giants. So you've got a little bit about Titan Legions there, fighting it out. The Forces of the Alpha Legion, and a catastrophe at Hub K876. Forces of the Night Lords. Forces of the Word Bearers. And then you've got Noctilith Crown sites there. Forces of the Iron Warriors. They fight it out against the Imperial Fists there. And some Imperial Guard, Astra Militarum. Renegade Forces. You've got Red Corsairs, the Scourged, Warriors of the Purge, and the Flawless Host. And it goes through each of them, a little bit about the Scourged there. And then you've got the Cult of the Pauper Princes, which are the Genestealer cult that, here they are, that made things a little bit more difficult there. Demons of Chaos, so you've got Demons of Tzeentch, Demons of Nurgle, Khorne, and Slaanesh, the Pale Stalker. And then the Forces of the Imperium. So we get up to page 98, and then we've got the Forces of the Imperium. So Imperium Vigilant, you've got 6 Imperial Assassins there. You've got a few Adeptus Sororitas there. I can't see any Titans at all. But I could be completely wrong. I'd have to read the whole book to kind of find out. Then you've got the other Space Marines that were involved. The Imperial Fists, the Iron Hands, Space Wolves, and the Crimson Fists. And their roles and what they've been doing in Vigilus Ablaze. Then you've got more. You've got the Dark Angels, White Scars, Black Templars, and Silver Skulls have also been involved. You've got there A Glimmer in the Heavens. The War Upon the Brink. The Wheels of Justice Turn Slowly. And then Campaign Rules. So, Vigilus Ablaze campaigns. So it's your chance to play in a campaign for Vigilus Ablaze. Here we go. So you've got the first phase of the War of Nightmares, all the way from round 1 to round 6. Second phase of the war, again round 1 to 6. The third phase, and that's it. Then campaigns in the Dark Imperium. Nihilus Events Table from 1 to 6. There's 3 in each. Narrative play missions. And you've got a Crucible of War from an Unexpected Quarter with stratagems. Allies of Convenience. Metal Onslaught. Control the Gate. Schism. Doomsday Device. And then you've got Echoes of War, which is on the bridge. Siege of the Hoist. Of Man and Xenos. The Serpent's Lure. Deadly Payload. Demise of a Legend. And then you've got a little dual zone, which is pretty cool. And then battle zones. So you've got Battle Zone Perilous Cavern. So you've got battle zones. Battle Zone Spaceship. Battle Zone Perilous Cavern, Raging Inferno, so this obviously takes place with the spires being on fire, Deadly Storm, Speedwar, Field of Nightmares, and then Warzone Rules. So you've got Dirkden Hive Sprawl with the scenery table, Greater Omniscient Hoist, Kalax Bane, Dontoria Hive Sprawl, Storval, and then Faction Rules. We've seen that. I think that was in the Chaos Space Marine Codex as well. Armies of Chaos. Here we go. Chaos Space Marines War Gear List. Abaddon the Despoiler. There he is. There's his rules. He's in the Chaos Space Marine Codex as well. But obviously here you get a lovely picture of him too. Exactly the same rules as in the Chaos Space Marine Codex. Lord's Discordant. You've got a Lord Discordant on a Hellstalker. Then you've got Master of Executions, which is another new model. And then a Dark Apostle and Dark Disciplines. Shame you don't have pictures of them as well. Would have been great if you have that. And then you've got Prayers to the Dark Gods, Chaos Space Marines, Terminators, Havocs, and Noctilith Crown. You've also got some new data sheets for the Skull Taker, the Bloodmaster, and the Skull Altar. All new models that Games Workshop have recently released to help you with your Chaos Army. And that's it. So if you were wondering what data sheets were included in this book and what new models that they've made or that they're going to make, that's in this book here. All of these have new kits out. So if you already have the Chaos Space Marine Codex, you know, the 8th edition one that came out a couple of years ago or so, maybe a year ago, then you can get away with just getting this book if you want these new models like Abaddon and the new Chaos Space Marines. But obviously if you've never had the Chaos Space Marine Codex, then it's worth getting that as well as your main army list. It's a shame that they've split it into two. However, you are technically getting more data sheets in here than you did in the last Vigilus book, which I think only had 2 anyway, which was Harken and Marnius, whereas at least this one you have got almost an army's worth of data sheets, which is pretty good. And you've also got these Khorne new models as well, which makes me wonder whether I should actually take some of these too, because I do like the Skulltake and the Bloodmaster models. You got their abilities and their points values, and there's a nice picture of them in battle. And then you've got Bringers of Despair, Devastation Battery with some command points, Cult of the Damned, Demonkin Ritualists, Skullforged Pack, Host Raptorial, Fallen Angels, Legion of Skulls, and then Black Legion, including all the relics and the stratagems. There they are, relics of the Legion as well. And then you've got Warlord traits, tactical objectives, and then a picture of them all there in battle. And then Renegade chapters and Renegade traits. So these are the ones that you get in the separate Space Marine Codex as well. You've got Renegade Warlord traits and Renegade chapter stratagems, and then the Renegade chapter artifacts. So no new Forces of Order at all in here. I kind of hoped that there would be. I really did. I thought that they would have the Primaris Phobos in here. This is mainly a Chaos book. I wonder if they're going to put all the new Chaos, all the new Space Marine, the Phobos stuff in Vigilus 3, if they do release a Vigilus 3 book, along with some other new units, like the Adeptus Sororitas, but we'll see. I was actually hoping that they'd have the new Primaris stuff in here too, as a bit of a mirror image. So you'd have the Eliminators, the new Phobos Captain, the Librarian, the Lieutenant, the Infiltrators, and the Suppressors. I thought you'd have all of that in here as well as a half. So if you wanted a full Vigilus campaign using the new models, which they do have in here, you could just take around this book rather than take this book and the Vanguard Space Marine mini codex. But I could also say that about the Chaos models in the Shadowspear box set, in that the Venom Crawler's not in here, neither is the Obliterators. They're all in the Chaos Space Marine codex. So it's nice that you get data sheets for all the new Chaos Space Marine models that they're releasing or have released, but you're not missing them if you get the Chaos Space Marine Codex, the new one, with the number 2 on, which is kind of what I thought would be the case. If you really want to know what's going on with Vigilus, and you want the backstory, and you want all the campaign missions and things, and you already have the Chaos Space Marine Codex, then you can't really go wrong by getting Vigilus Ablaze, because it has the data sheets for the new models like Abaddon and the Lord Discordant. If you've got the Shadowspear box set and you want to get the new models for this Chaos Space Marine release, then by all means you can get away with getting the Shadowspear box set and Vigilus Ablaze, which just further adds to my conviction that they should have put this Vigilus Ablaze book in that box set. It's a pricey box set. It would have been great if they had this book in, and it would have encouraged more people to go out and buy the new Chaos Space Marine releases, and then possibly start up an army and get the Chaos Space Marine Codex later on down the line. If you have a current Chaos Space Marine army and you just want to get a few of the new releases, you can't really go wrong by skipping the Vigilus Ablaze book and just going straight for the new Chaos Space Marine Codex. and the new models. But if you already have the old Chaos Space Marine Codex and you've bought Shadowspear, you can get away with having Shadowspear and this Vigilus Ablaze book for the new models. It's just that the data sheets and the rules are going to be in 2 books rather than 1, which is the new Codex. But the new Codex does have like the Master of Possession and the Venom Crawler. It has all the other units as well, like the Plague Marines and other factions. Both Vigilus Ablaze and the Demonkin Mini Codex don't include. I've obviously bought all 3 of those products because I wanted to give you first looks and reviews of all of them. What do you guys think of the new Vigilus Ablaze book? Please keep it spoiler free in the comments below. I really enjoyed the first one, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get the second one in the series. Do you think it should have been included in Shadowspear? And do you also think it should have included the forces of the Imperium? They do talk a lot about them in the book. Personally, I think they should have had all of the units in the Shadowspear box set as data sheets in there, and all the new Vanguard Primaris Space Marines too, because then you'd only have to lug around this one book instead of those mini codexes. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.